Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 138 of Fresh Out the Podcast. I am the podcast master and game master and other kinds of masters. I'm Jahan, and you like me.
The Master Potter himself, Jahan. Yeah, and I'm the professional media and movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. This is episode 138 of Fresh Out the Podcast. We just had a movie-filled episode talking about all the Fantastic Fest stuff from last week, and this week I have kind of like a little assortment of bullet points to go over here, Jahan, that I want to talk about leading up to a discussion in Fresh Movies about Joker 2, Joker Folie à Deux. First off, I did get to see you over the weekend. You and Jenny had a nice little baby shower.
Yeah.
For little baby Jahan coming soon.
Yeah. Very excited.
And we had a really nice time. Did you and Jenny enjoy it? Did you all have a good time, or were you too stressed making sure everybody else had a good time?
A little bit of that, but that's just how we operate. In my family, we're always stressed about hosting. But yeah, it's just weird being the focus of everyone's attention. But it was very, very fun. It was great seeing everybody. Got to see a lot of people I don't get to see very often. Friends and family. Very cool. My brothers came in. My older brother and his husband, they were there. And so that was a nice treat. And yeah, it was really cool. We got a lot of really sweet gifts, including a handmade blanket, which is like the softest thing I've ever felt for the baby.
Aww.
So very, very cool. Thank you, Jordan. And yeah,
I will say there was a game, as there tends to be at baby showers, there's a game, and it was a typical like guess which parent will do this the most kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like who's the fun parent, who's the strict parent, who's the parent most likely to do A, B, C, or D. And I did not win, but I only missed one. And
Yeah.
I will say, I think a big part of that is due to us doing Fresh Out the Podcast for several years now.
Yeah.
I feel like it has helped me get to know you a bit. And I felt on every answer that I knew the answer was Jahan, I felt 100% confident about it.
Yeah.
So like that was the thing that I felt good. It made me feel like I really know you.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've definitely gotten to know each other doing this podcast and hanging out and all that stuff over the last couple of years. It's been really cool, man. We've always kind of been around each other, but, never really the direct connection like we have now. So, very cool.
Indeed. It was really nice. Y'all had a really, really nice get-together for everyone. I wanted to tell you here in front of our audience that I thought it was great. And
Thanks,
compliment
man.
you on it.
We
and Jenny as
appreciate
well. Pass it along to her.
I absolutely will. We appreciate it. Yeah, man, it's always nice getting together at the restaurant. It's nice to have a venue available to us all the time.
It was really nice.
Yeah? Was that your first time there?
It was.
Yeah. Yep. Got to go there for dinner sometime, man. It's real good.
Natalie wants to go really badly because she wants to have the She wants to have the food. We were hoping. I mean, it makes sense why it wasn't the case and everything. But y'all had actually a really nice taco bar there.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, am I gonna get a little taste of Cafe Benedict, here? And I'll have to come back. You did it on purpose. You're making me come back.
We enticed you. Yeah, we're gonna have to bring you back for some of that hot food.
Indeed. So there's that. That was really nice. I wanted to talk about some other things in the news that's kind of leading up to our Joker conversation. And Joker just came out. So I know you haven't seen Joker 2 yet. No. But I'm trying to remember. Did you see The Marvels, the sequel to the Captain Marvel movie?
I did.
Okay, you saw that. Did you see Aquaman 2, or whatever the Aquaman sequel was called? I can't remember what its subtitle was.
I barely saw Aquaman 1, Doug.
So, well, that kind of answers the question is, why didn't you see Aquaman 2?
Because it sucked butt.
Okay. The first Aquaman's awesome, but we're not gonna, rehash this too much.
The first Aquaman is passable, sure. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not Madam Web. It's fine. It's just not. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Fair. So Joker. Mm-hmm. Just opened to, or Joker 2, opened to $37.7 million domestic over the weekend. That's pretty low.
That's pretty low.
For a Joker movie. For comparison, the first Joker movie, let me confirm this, opened to $96 million.
Oh boy.
So almost 3 times as much as Joker 2, and made on a $55 million budget compared to Joker 2, which was made on I think closer to $100 million budget. If it might even be $200 million. Hold on.
Jeez.
It was made for a lot more money. Yeah, estimated $200 million. So literally almost quadrupled the budget for the film. And this made literally a third of the box office opening domestically. Worldwide, it's up to like 115 million right now. Yeah. And I saw an interesting stat on Twitter/X over the weekend, which was back in 2018, 2019, Aquaman and Captain Marvel and Joker all came out about within the span of a year. Okay. And those 3 movies combined made over $3 billion. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
They were each $1 billion grossers. Pretty crazy. Of course, that was pre-pandemic. We were truly in the height of the superhero era. This was the only one of these that came out after a post-Endgame was Joker. So we were still riding high, box office high. I mean, 2019 is an insane year for movies. Captain Marvel and Joker both made, $1 billion. Let me make sure that Joker made $1 billion. I think it did. Yeah, it made $1.079 billion. Also that year was the live-action Lion King remake, Toy Story 4, Avengers Endgame. Like, all those movies made $1 billion. So many movies in 2019 made $1 billion. Now here we are in 2024, where, again, in the span of a year, we've had a sequel to Captain Marvel, a sequel to Aquaman, and a sequel to Joker. And these 3 movies are probably not even going to make $1 billion combined.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane. If they made $1 billion a piece before, they're going to struggle to make that much combined. Typically, you can rely on sequels to maybe not do as much money as the first movie, but they're probably going to do pretty significant depending on what it is. And I wanted to know, in your thoughts, what is the cause of this? And I want to say, I don't think this is a superhero fatigue kind of thing.
No.
Like, a lot of people blame it on that. But I think this is I think there's a lot of people that feel similarly to Aquaman as you do. and they're like, man, this sequel doesn't even look good. I don't even care to give it my time. The first one probably overperformed relative to what it was doing. Captain Marvel, I think, was just in the Marvel wave of everything was unstoppable, and maybe people didn't care as much about Captain, or the Marvels. Maybe people weren't as invested because it was introducing characters from the TV shows. I don't know. And then, of course, Joker Folie à Deux had some pretty bad buzz around it. It premiered at the festivals back in September to negative reviews. It's had this cloud hanging over it for like a month. It's not what you want to have your movie get negative reviews over a month before it's supposed to come out. So that's the discourse leading up to your movie's release. I don't know if it was those negative reviews that are causing this box office plummet or what, but I wanted to get your opinion as a fan of comic book movies as to why that's the case. Why did you not go see Joker? I mean, obviously you had busy things going on this weekend, but like, do you want to see the Joker movie? I want to know what your thought is on all this stuff I just spewed out at you.
I was kind of coming around to Joker Folie à Deux. It started looking better to me. I was like, this could be good, but it was the buzz that kind of killed my desire to see it. I hear that it sucked, and like, I don't know that I really feel like spending afternoon at the movie theater to see a shitty movie. I don't know. I feel like I could really pull apart the differences between those movies and their sequels and why maybe they didn't do as well. Not saying like the first Joker movie was great, fantastic, wonderful movie. People who identify with the Joker and are fans of him, like, they usually fall, like, either you're just a comic book lover or you're potentially an incel or something, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily breed the best fans, because the Joker's a messed up guy, you know what I mean? It attracts like-minded thinking, and maybe they didn't like that Lady Gaga was in this movie. I don't know. We could sort of split that. We could talk that way for a long time about these and really get into it. But at the end of the day, I think it like the easier conversation is the reason why I think the Joker and these other movies aren't making any money is because the first one made $1 billion. The first Joker made $1 billion. That's the reason why they're making the sequel. They're not making the sequel because they had a good idea. They're not making the sequel because they were inspired. They're not making the sequel because they think they can do a really good job. They are making it because the first one made $1 billion. And, I feel like people are becoming more discerning consumers of media. I feel like people are actually starting to appreciate nuance and that kind of stuff. People are starting to wake up a little bit in their tastes. I personally have seen, I think that it's becoming more of a thing. People are becoming more discerning. And, if your movie doesn't have heart and it's written, if you're just trying to cash checks, man, people aren't like here for it these days, in my opinion.
There's a little movie called Deadpool and Wolverine that I think begs to differ with you of having heart and, inspired sequelness. But no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, that's a tactic in itself.
You have a point.
Like, I'm just saying, though, with Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm not saying that they're tricking audiences into going to see it, but, like, that's a tactic, right? This mystery box aspect of it, of, like, come see this movie, you don't know who or what might be popping up in it. There might be cameos, there might be this, and you just feel like, well, I have to go see it so I don't get this thing spoiled for me. I remember there being kind of a similar feeling with Spider-Man No Way Home, because of the whole media leading up to that of like Andrew Garfield saying he for sure wasn't in it, but there being set photos, but people weren't sure if the set photos were real or photoshopped, and it was like this big, you knew all these villains were going to be in it, but the question was like, are Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield going to be in this movie or not? Of course, now we know they were in the movie, and that was very fun. And so I think that there's a mystery box aspect that can help with the box office. None of these movies we've talked about had a mystery box aspect. I think like we kind of knew going into these movies what they were going to be, and then they were what we thought they were going to be. Or in the case of Joker 2, maybe disappointing compared to what we thought they were going to be. You talked about this, just around Joker, and you're right. When the first one came out, critically it was reviewed well, and it was kind of this big surprise, especially the prestige push that it got and the awards accolades that it was nominated for and won. You know, it was a big Oscar player, and Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for acting for this movie, and it's kind of crazy. But there was still a conversation around the movie that's like, if you like this movie, you're an incel. And there were, you know, while there were positive reviews, there were people that absolutely reviled the movie and did not like it and had very strong feelings. I personally liked the movie. I thought it was pretty good.
I liked the movie too.
It made me have, you know, it made me. Todd Phillips is a director I didn't really feel one way or the other before Joker. You know, he was primarily a comedy director. This is the guy that directed Road Trip and Old School and the Hangover movies.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's all of a sudden making a Joker movie that's gonna pay tribute to Scorsese and Taxi Driver and these like kind of old 70s crime, 60s, 70s crime movies, but be a Joker movie or Joker origin movie. Like, what? You know, that it sounded kind of preposterous, and Todd Phillips proved that he could make a gritty prestige movie, you know, from comic book IP, but still. And I feel like I'm interested to see what he does next as an original movie. I don't know if he's going to go back to comedy after this, or if he's going to do more drama, but maybe something original and not based on comic book IP. I don't know. We'll see what he does. But the conversation around Joker 2 is way more. I wouldn't even say divided, because the people praising the movie, it's a much smaller crowd than the first one. This is kind of getting more of in the nature of like, if you like this movie, you're a bad person. Like, that's kind of like there's kind of that type of dialogue going on, which I don't think that's correct either.
I mean, for the most part, that's never true. Like, there are very few movies that if you liked them, you're a bad person. And for point of clarification, if you like the Joker, it doesn't automatically make you an incel.
Absolutely not. No, I was definitely not saying that.
I was definitely not saying that either. Yeah.
On Twitter, who would say those types of things because Twitter's a terrible cesspool of a place.
Only Sith deal in absolutes, man.
Well, I guess that kind of cues up the conversation about Joker too, and a lot of times when we talk about these movies, and it's especially one that I've seen and you haven't seen, I tend to just kind of go through it pretty fast. But Joker 2, if you don't mind indulging me,
chop it up, man. Chop it up.
Talk about it a little bit. So this will be kind of a transition into fresh movies. Joker 2, or Joker Folie à Deux, as it's actually called. Am I saying that correct? Joker Folie à Deux?
I don't know about the first word, but I think you're saying adieu, right? Adieu.
Okay. Adieu.
Adieu.
I did look up what this meant. It's a bit like a shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder, which makes sense. You know, you're dealing with Joker and Harley Quinn here. Here's the thing. It's not a bad movie. Like, okay. I've seen movies that are bad movies. This is not a bad movie. From a craft standpoint, it's well made. It's well shot. It's extremely well acted. Joaquin Phoenix is great. Lady Gaga is good. There's a lot of great supporting characters. Brendan Gleeson's in this as a prison guard, and he's very good. Catherine Keener plays a lawyer. She's very good. Like, there's good performances here. It all, you know, looks fine. It's not a question of like, is this a badly made movie? It's more of like, this is just a movie I didn't enjoy watching.
Okay.
You know, from that standpoint of what it's trying to do. And there's a lot, you know, I'm not saying anything new here, you know, from what other, you know, well-educated reviewers are saying, which is like, this movie, it really does feel like Todd Phillips said, if you did like the first Joker movie, you're wrong. You shouldn't have liked it. You shouldn't like this guy. And I'm going to show you why you're wrong for liking that movie. And also I'm going to give you a middle finger, throughout, as you're watching it. That's kind of how this movie feels. And in a way, I'm like, I see what he was doing. And I think he accomplished what he was trying to do. But that doesn't mean that I enjoyed the experience of watching it.
Yeah.
That's the way that's best for me to describe it. This movie takes place right after Joker. Joker, Arthur Fleck is the character. He's in Arkham State Hospital, because of the crimes that he committed, where he shot, the Robert De Niro TV show host character and killed him on live television, and it created this whole uprising and this, surge of people lifting up this crazy guy that committed this act on TV, and this is the fallout, right? So he's basically in prison, or in a hospital prison, and he goes to trial for what's happening. And while he's at at Arkham, he meets Harley Quinn, and she's very taken with him because of what he's done, and wants to elevate him into this true Joker icon status of what what people want him to be. And then, of course, I haven't even mentioned yet that this is a musical. Yeah. And the musical nature of it is really interesting because, for me, a large portion of this movie is kind of boring. And that's another problem I had with it. And at the beginning, it's really dragging. And finally, this first musical number pops up, and it's Arthur Fleck, and he sings For Once in My Life, the Stevie Wonder song. And I was like, okay. And he's doing kind of like a Joaquin Phoenix talk singing. So it's not like full on The Greatest Showman type musical numbers here. It's really more of like he'll ease into kind of this talk singing, and then it maybe progresses, that type of thing. And when the first musical number popped up, I felt like the movie kind of sprung to life. And I was like, okay, maybe I am going to like this. And then he meets Harley, and they do a musical number together. She does, oh gosh, it's the Sweet Charity song. Anyways, she's, Lady Gaga's great. We know she's a great performer. That's not a surprise. But even still, it feels like she's a little bit, If My Friends Could See Me Now. Sorry, that's the song. It feels like she's a little bit on a leash here. Like, they're not really letting her be Gaga or like be all out there. Everything just feels really restrained with the musical numbers. And they kind of, to me, they stutter as they go on. Like, they become less interesting as the movie goes on. And it's like the movie doesn't really commit to being a musical at that point. Like, there's musical numbers, but they're slow, they're plotting, they're not like exciting or energetic. So the musical number doesn't really work. The prison stuff gets a little bit boring. There's a whole courtroom aspect to the movie that's okay, and I think has some really interesting moments. And actually the last 20 minutes has some really interesting moments as well, and things that I thought were kind of good. But it's a punishing movie, and it feels like it's a depressing movie. This is a movie that's telling you, as if we needed to be told again, that the world's a terrible place. It's full of terrible people, and sometimes terrible people are just terrible. There's nothing behind it. Sometimes they're just bad people, or sometimes there's just something wrong with people. There's no greater meaning or message behind it, and that's kind of what the movie's doing. And that's not the happiest tone throughout a whole 2 hour and 20-minute movie, which is a long period of time.
That's a long movie. Yeah, you really got to commit to the musical, man. You can't go half-ass on the musical part.
Yeah, I absolutely. And especially when Lady Gaga is in your movie, like, you have the talent.
Yeah, go for it. Go hog wild. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like they missed an opportunity there. This movie, it's the Joker and Harley Quinn, and it's a musical. There's no reason why you should be bored. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I mean, for the second half of the movie, Harley Quinn is almost barely in it. Or if she's there, she's just an audience member in the the court scenes, and she's kind of motivation for Arthur Fleck, but also she's the conflict and the motivation, but also not present for big portions of it. It's very strange.
That is strange. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it sounds like they're trying to not do the Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, they're just like, these are them as people, and they like didn't let it get to the next part. I don't know, man. There's someone has commitment issues with this. You really got to go all in on a movie like this, I think.
Yeah, and it's a movie I went into kind of with the feeling of like, I think I'm gonna go against the grain here. Like, I think I'm gonna like this movie, and I'm gonna champion it. And 30 minutes in, I was like, not feeling it. And then it kind of would spring to life for me a little bit, and then it would die off again. And by the end of it, I was just kind of like, okay, that's that. Like, that's the kind of movie it is. That's the type of movie you walk away not feeling like you learned something, not feeling emotions. That you just kind of walk away going, okay, well, there it was.
That's weird, man. Like, a musical. See, that's the other thing. You said this movie like was depressing and like, everything shit. Musicals kind of shine at tackling depressing topics and not making you, because it's a musical, you know what I mean? Like Rent, everybody's got AIDS and all this stuff, like that's hard stuff to not be depressed about. And, under the veil of a musical, it works, but I don't know. I guess they didn't get the memo, so that's a shame.
It is a shame, and it's been a rough year for Warner Brothers, and although they did have a lot of success with Beetlejuice, so that's good. But man,
that is good.
It's crazy that Beetlejuice opened to $111 million domestically, and then a Joker sequel opens to $37 million. Like, that's crazy.
That is pretty wild. I mean, Gina Ortega though.
I mean, yeah, she's absolutely the like. It's kind of crazy how she's one of the people that can get young people to go to the movies.
For young people, she's like the it girl right now, dude. Like it works, and I don't know, they didn't really do that here. Yeah, it's a shame. Warner Brothers, man, they've been messing up for a while, ever since they canned that Batgirl movie. Like the people at the helm over there seem like they're just businessmen that have no business running a media empire.
Yeah, between, considering the most recent DC movies, you got Aquaman, Joker, even going back to Blue Beetle, The Flash, and some of these movies that have really been box office disappointments. It just goes to show that I think that there's a whole lot now riding on the new Superman movie that's coming out next summer, that James Gunn's directing. And I think the first real thing we're getting of the James Gunn DC era is there's that Creature Commandos animated show comes out on Max in December.
Ooh, I'm actually excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing Peacemaker season 2. There's some things still kind of continuing in this transition, but the first real big swing in this new DC era is that Superman movie. And if that movie comes out in flounders, then they're in real trouble. I don't think that's going to be the case, to be honest. I think it'll probably do quite well. And I have enough faith in James Gunn that I think it'll probably be pretty good too. And I'd be down for a good Superman movie.
Hey man, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. I think he's got it. I mean, Peacemaker, dude. Like, I don't think about Peacemaker deliberately because I'm dying on the inside for season 2, and like the fact that it's almost here and it's almost time to do my Peacemaker season 1 rewatch. I'm hella excited, dude.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Peacemaker as well. That was when we were really in that first year of fresh out the pod, and we were watching that and talking about Peacemaker week to week. It's good memories.
Yeah, good man. Memories. That was good times, dude. Good times.
Well, that was what I wanted to say about Joker. It's a hard movie to talk about because, it's not one that I want to sit here and bash and be like, this movie is so bad because X, Y, and Z. It's not like that. It's it's trying to do some things, but a lot of those things don't really work for me. But yet it's well made, and I don't know. It's just it's really it's a difficult one that leaves me scratching my head. Allegedly, Joaquin Phoenix like woke up from a dream and was like, "This is we have to do this Joker movie," and a lot of it was his idea. I don't know if that's the case. He wasn't a writer on the movie, but yeah, I mean, yeah, this didn't work for me. And there are people that do like it. There are positive reviews out there. Like I think Deadline has a positive review. The Wrap has a positive review. There are outlets that have reviewed it positively, but there are others that are decimating it. And I don't think it's worth going that hard on it, but it's just. But I can also understand why people are not happy with what this movie did. I get it.
What would you give it if you had to rate it?
So the first Joker I gave 4 out of 5 stars, and this one I'd give 2.5 out of 5 stars.
2.5 out of 5. Okay, makes sense.
And I'm gonna say, for me personally, not fresh.
Gotcha.
This is one that you in particular, Jahan, I'd be really interested to get your thoughts on it.
Might have to go watch it, man. Might have to go watch it. I know Jen's mom wants to see this, so.
You might walk away from it being like it was depressing, but I liked it, and I would understand. For me, I just came away from it not having enjoyed my experience, and that's all it was.
I have a taste for ennui, so yeah, I like the sad. I like being sad sometimes, so maybe we'll see.
So that's it. That's Joker. And we might talk about it more in the future when Jahan sees it. We might do, if you see it sometime, maybe we'll talk spoilers in a few weeks, whenever that happens. But yeah, the other movie that I had in my fresh movies of the week is Ouija. Have you seen the Ouija movie, Jahan?
Bro, that is not how you say that.
Yeah, it is.
What? It's Ouija.
You one of the people that say Ouija? No, it's not Ouija. It's Ouija.
No one says Ouija.
Well, everybody else is wrong.
Maybe that's. Do they say Ouija in the movie?
Yeah. Ouija board.
That's so wild to me. All right, go on.
Oh, me and Kyle and them did. We used to do the board all the time.
Oh, I know.
It was always the Ouija board. I think I probably called it the Ouija board then too, and I was corrected to the Ouija board.
I might be. Yeah, I'm fully willing to accept that I'm wrong here, but
I'm debunking this now. This is worth the
the aside. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, a note. Okay, a note on pronunciation.
Oh.
Either Ouija or Ouija is acceptable.
No wrong answers.
That's from vocabulary.com.
Okay. So we're both right.
Let's see. There's some Reddit stuff. I don't know if I want to go.
Don't go to Reddit, man. Route. You'll never get out. You'll never get out.
r/no stupid questions. Somebody asked, "Why is Ouija pronounced Ouija?" And let's see. It's a made-up word. That's the top comment. The manufacturer decided how to pronounce it. Clearly, they thought Ouija was the best pronunciation for the product's marketing and sales. And then some people say it's supposed to be Ouija. So there are people correcting it. Oh no, I'm getting out of that cesspool.
Get out of there! Run!
I've always said Ouija, but there's a movie called Ouija that came out in, I think it was 2014. Yep, and I watched it. It's on Netflix. It's not very good. This is the definition of a movie that you watch it and you're like, I could have written that.
Yeah.
You know, like if somebody locked you in a room for 3 days, Jahan, and said, write a movie about a Ouija board, like write a horror movie. It's about a Ouija board. Go. You'd probably write this movie. It's as simple as that. An interesting thing about it is that it stars a young Olivia Cook from 10 years ago, who now plays in House of the Dragon, who we praise week to week, playing Alicent Hightower.
Oh, yeah, I love her.
And she's the lead in the Ouija movie. She looks exactly the same, so it's kind of crazy that how well she's aged in 10 years.
I just saw her in something else, too. I can't remember what it was.
She's in Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Was it that?
No. Maybe. Actually.
She's in...
It was on TV, like, recently. I don't know if it was new or if my mom was watching Ready Player One, but...
There's a movie that she's in that I really enjoy called Thoroughbreds. I recommend it. It's got her and Anya Taylor-Joy in it. Good movie.
I like both those people.
Yeah, but she's the lead in Ouija. Ouija's not good. Wanted something spooky. It wasn't very spooky, and it wasn't very good. So, that's on me, I guess.
You're moving it.
At least it was only 89 minutes long.
You're moving it. I'm moving it.
The premise of this movie is, there's these high school friends, and one of the girls dies mysteriously, kills herself right at the beginning, and they're clearly like, she wouldn't have done this. It has to be this Ouija board that she did on her own, and so they're all then trying to use the Ouija board to connect with her and figure out why she died or what happened, and of course then they open themselves up to the spirits haunting this house and opening up the spirits. One thing that happens in the movie that I don't think is a thing from playing the game, but they've made this a thing in the movie. When you play the board, everybody puts their hand on it and you ask questions and it moves around and it has the little clear circle on it so you can see what letters and things it's pointing out. But of course in the movie, if they're in the middle of playing and they hold it up and look through the circle, you might see a ghosty ghost. Which results in some cheap jump scares, of course. Anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about this movie still. It's not very good.
Okay, well, we'll pull up from the nosedive here. That's all for Fresh Movies this week. Let's jump into some Fresh TV. And we'll start off with something that DC's putting out that Warner Brothers might be actually pretty good. The Penguin just dropped on Max. This is a side story from the Robert Pattinson Batman movie. It picks off like almost literally the next day, like from the end of Batman. Like they're dealing with the aftermath of the levees breaking or being blown up or whatever, and the death of Falcone and all that stuff. Colin Farrell does a great job with this character. I can see why he kept wanting to play him. I understand that the prosthetics, like, not everyone's happy. It's kind of weird. I think he does a really good job. I think that they're convincing. They're not really like in The Hobbit when you put it on ultra high def and you could see their fake noses. It doesn't feel like that. I feel like he really does get lost in this character. And it's sort of like what's that? It was The Sopranos. Like, it's sort of like that style of show. And it's showing the Penguin doing mafia shit. You know what I mean? And very early on, he ends up picking up this guy through circumstance that ends up working for him. And it's kind of they're going against these other organized crime lords in this power vacuum that's created by the end of the Batman movie. And I watched the first episode. I honestly, I wasn't expecting to like this. I found that I was like, man, I gotta go podcast. I can't watch anymore. I actually want to keep watching this show. I thought it was really good. The first episode had me hooked. It's got some great acting in it. Let me actually...
I really like the girl that's in it. She's from the movie Palm Springs.
Yeah, Christine Melody.
Melody, yeah.
She's great. She's in the first episode. Her performance, man, is scary, dude. She kills it. She really goes for it. Clancy Brown, one of the main characters is a guy named Rezi Feliz, who I don't know if you're gonna know who that is, but he was one of the leads in Marvel's Runaway show, which I enjoyed.
Okay. Yeah, I never watched Runaways.
I watched all the Runaways. I did like it. That was back when I just couldn't get enough Marvel. It's got a lot of good names in there, and just a lot of really good mafia crime show stuff. It has some really shocking moments. It's got some brutal violence. I think it's well written, well acted, and well directed, man. This is definitely something that I would certify fresh. I give it after just the first episode, 4 out of 5 right out the gate, man. Like I would, even pushing that 5 button, man. There was some really good acting in this, and you know what? I'll give it 4.5 stars. Certified fresh. Check out The Penguin on Max. I like it. I think you will too.
I'm still meaning to watch this. It's been on my radar. I almost started it up the other day, but the first episode was like an hour and 7 minutes long or something like that. And I was like, I don't have the time to watch it right now. The other thing I'm worried about for some reason, this is going to sound really dumb. Like, I just assume the show's really dark. Like, it just looks like lighting wise, like the whole show is dark. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to watch. Like, am I going to be able to see what's happening?
You'll be able to see a lot of it takes place in daytime. Like, there's a lot of daytime scenes. There's a lot of rain, but even during the rain is like during the day, so you can see fine. There's a couple nighttime scenes, but I don't remember having difficulty seeing.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't remember
I'm gonna watch this. I just keep putting it off.
It wasn't. If there are dark scenes, it wasn't enough for me to really notice or care. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, check out The Penguin. I thought this was a stupid idea, and I didn't know why they were doing it. Now I'm liking it. So, a little egg on my face. That's it for me for Fresh TV. What do you get?
I've got a couple of Netflix shows. The first one, I actually meant to talk about this last week, but put it off. Mr. McMahon. This is the documentary series about Vince McMahon of the WWE. And it's from Ringer Films on Netflix. It's 6 episodes. And this is an interesting doc because just a little background for this, right? They started making this with Vince McMahon's permission, and he's on board to do his life story and really talk about his career. And it was pre all of the allegations that came out against him in the past couple of years. I won't get into all the allegations, but if you want to hear some really heinous and disgusting deeds that a person did, go research some recent stuff about Vince McMahon. This documentary was made with his permission before that. So he's interviewed. He gives access to a lot of people within the WWE. Big superstars, big names. Stone Cold's in this. The Rock's in it. Cody Rhodes is in it. You know, all the top guys. And I guess they were about to wrap up the production of the documentary when the allegations against Vince McMahon came out, and the documentarians, to their credit, of course, were like, well, we can't wrap this up. We have to keep this going. And so all the interviews with Vince are from before that, but they have interviews with other folks and reporters from after the fact. Allegedly, Vince McMahon tried to buy this documentary from the folks before it came out, to try and, be to his liking or not release it or whatever they were going to do, and that didn't happen. So it's out here, and it really goes through the allegations and things from him stepping down from WWE, coming back, selling the company, and then having to step down again. It covers all of that, and so it's very interesting when it gets to that. The first several episodes are really almost more to give a history of Vince McMahon. You have to give a history of wrestling in the WWE, and wrestling fans are extremely self-indulgent and love to reminisce about the days of old. Like, I, as somebody that watches a lot of wrestling and has friends that watch wrestling, it's very common for wrestling fans to be like, hey, remember that time that, Undertaker threw Mankind through the Hell in the Cell? Or, hey, remember, Andre versus Hogan at WrestleMania 3. Like, that's just the thing wrestling fans do. So I'm watching this documentary, and it's not showing me anything that I didn't already know. But it doesn't mean I don't like watching all this stuff in a nice documentary form that's put together well. Yeah. So this would be an absolutely fascinating documentary to watch for somebody who knows nothing about wrestling, because it does really show how the industry works in a good way, and I feel like it's educational for anybody who's interested in wrestling, or even not, because it's just a good documentary. So that's Mr. McMahon on Netflix.
Hell yeah. Sounds good. I'm surprised that's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's where it is. I also watched another Netflix show. I haven't watched the whole thing. My wife and I just threw this on the other night and watched a couple episodes. Extremely bingeable. It's a show called Nobody Wants This, and it stars Kristen Bell and Adam Brody are the two leads. This has been in the top 10 of Netflix for like 2 weeks. So if you've been on Netflix, you've probably seen this on there because it's just been popular.
I've seen like trailers and stuff. Yeah.
And it's kind of cute. It's, again, these are like 20-minute episodes. It's really easy to get through. Kristen Bell plays a podcaster that she and her sister have like a relationship podcast where they talk a lot about like sex and relationships and stuff. And Adam Brody is a young rabbi. And they meet and they each have history and they, kind of have a spark between them. And it's all about their weird, interesting relationship considering the very different backgrounds they come from. And Adam Brody is just so charming, and I enjoy watching him in things, and he's very good in this. So I've only watched the first couple episodes, but I will be probably watching more with my wife. Just a really easy one to binge with your significant other if you want to.
I could use a significant other binge show. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Nobody Wants This. It's on Netflix. It's 10 episodes, but they're all less than 30 minutes long.
Excellent. Did I talked about The Circle on here. Did I talk about the finale?
I don't think you did. You did talk about The Circle, I think, last week a little bit.
Right. Yeah, the finale finally happened. You reminded me with the spouse watching. Me and Jenny finished watching it. The finale happened. The finale was wild. They reveal all the catfish and people that weren't real. The biggest upset was one of the most popular girls in the show is actually two guys that are twin brothers playing, and so people are like, who are you? Like, and they're like, we're Giada, and it's just like really funny to watch that reveal.
But you know this as the audience.
As the audience, right? You know it, but it's great. Okay. Like, you're the whole time you're like, I can't wait for someone to see this because that's crazy. And so yeah, that was. I watched Circle finale. I still recommend it. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Very nice.
That's it for Fresh TV, buddy.
Do you have anything for Fresh Games?
I mean, I played some games. I beat Dead Rising twice. I really like it a lot. So there's that. I have a lot of games on the chopping block that I'm trying to get at, but man, do I not have the time.
Kind of in a similar boat, and I'm very OCD about games, and I really like to finish what I start, regardless of my feelings about it. And Star Wars Outlaws, I've talked about for the past couple weeks, right? And I've made my feelings on it pretty well known. I more or less stand by it. This game got kind of a shot in the arm for me when I got to Tatooine. And there are some kind of fun things in the game. I don't know if it's a spoiler to say you go to Tatooine in the game.
You go to Tatooine in every Star Wars IP.
Yeah, and I complain about that all the time because Star Wars is literally an entire galaxy far, far away. Why do we keep going to the well of Tatooine? That being said, the way the game was going, it was like a shot in the arm for me when I was playing it. I was like, okay, it was new. But then the problem with this game is I've put about 20 hours into it, right? I could have beaten the campaign if I really just mainlined it and probably would have been like, oh, this is fine, and then been done with it. But I get so stuck on doing all the side content, and like you get so much intel and you can explore, and then I start doing all that, and a lot of that's not very fun. But like I've put hours into doing that, and then I burn myself out in the game, and I haven't even beat it yet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm 20 hours in. I don't even feel like playing this anymore, but I haven't beaten it yet. But it's because I keep doing a bunch of other random stuff. And I've really been wanting to play The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Right?
Yeah.
I've been really wanting to play it, and I'm getting burnt out on Star Wars Outlaws. I was playing Star Wars Outlaws recently, right? I was in the space battle. The battle was really frustrating me. The game froze, crashed my entire Xbox. Like, it made my Xbox do a hard reset.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a sign for me. And I did not reboot it, and I started up The Legend of Zelda.
Hell yeah. Thanks, God.
So I have not played it very much yet. I've really I got through the opening segment, and everybody knows from the trailers what Link is essentially captured by this void or is stuck in this void, and so you play as Zelda.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's spoiler to say the first
Not really.
10 minutes of the game you play as Link. So I did all that, got to Zelda, did the escape from the castle, and now I'm like at the beach and doing some of that. So like really just still kind of starting to play with the mechanics of the game and explore a little bit, but this is one of those games that an hour in and I'm like, yep, this is everything that I've been wanting in a game right now. It's tough because there's a lot of games coming out right now I want to play. The new Diablo 4 expansion just came out, and I'm like, I kind of want to jump into that. There's a big new Atlas RPG called Metaphor coming out on Friday that's getting really great reviews, and I'm a big Persona guy. So I'm like, I really want to play that, but I'm like, I'm just trying to do one at a time. And luckily, I think Zelda is like a good 12 to 15 hour game that you can knock out relatively quickly. So I think I'm going to stick with Zelda and then I'll move on to something else. Will I go back to Star Wars Outlaws? I think maybe. I'd really like to try to at least finish the campaign, but it's a struggle. I think if I go back to it, I'm just going to have to mainline the story and finish it.
Yeah, right now, I beat the shit out of Dead Rising and I really enjoyed my time. I have to go back to Alan Wake 2, which is one of my favorite games I've played in recent memory. So, like, I'm really enjoying that. And then I haven't really done as much of Space Marine 2 as I want, so I got to do that. I got to play Zelda. But a new game did just drop today that I didn't think I'd get to be able to play because PlayStation exclusive, right? But sometimes they also release them on PC. So Silent Hill 2 is actually available on Steam.
I want to play this too. Yes.
I haven't played I've never played a Silent Hill game all the way through. Like I just never had them. And I would really like to play Silent Hill 2 on the PC. And normally when there's a PlayStation exclusive that comes to PC, it's a few years later. This one, same day. And so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that was another one that just dropped. So you have like a new Dragon Ball Z game just dropped this week, Silent Hill 2, Metaphor. You've got Diablo 4 major expansion. A new Zelda game just came out like 2 weeks ago. There's a new the Mario and Luigi RPG comes out in a couple weeks. Like
that actually looks pretty fun. Yeah. So many games, so little time.
And plus, I like to watch movies and TV shows, and obviously I'm not watching the TV shows that I want to watch because I keep playing games or watching movies instead of doing that. So it's just, and I have children. You're about to have children, and life's about to get weird.
Yeah, man, I'm about to have a kid. I have like 300 board games I need to play. Man, life's challenging. I also have like 200 tabletop RPGs I need to get through at some point. So,
literally 200.
Probably more, if we're going literal.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of tabletop RPGs that I buy or get sent to me and this and that. So, yeah, man, good stuff. I don't know. It's a good problem to have. We're busy, and I think I like it. Honestly, it's just refreshing after some of the past years in games that we've had that have been just underwhelming and disappointing left and right. We have some good stuff at our fingertips right now, and I'm really enjoying it. So it's a good time to be a gamer, y'all.
It just stinks because it seems like we'll have some long periods of time where there's like not many games coming out, and then you hit October and everything comes out at once. And I'm like, why couldn't I have had some of these games, a month or two ago when it would have fit perfectly into my, playtime? And of course it doesn't work that way.
Never works that way. Yeah, February, I'm getting Civilization, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to do anything else. So that's going to be fun.
We will never see Jahan.
Never see me again. Well, hell, man, that's fresh games. That was pretty fresh for games right there. All that's left is fresh picks of the week. You got one? Because I sure do.
It's tough going through. Like, it's not Joker, definitely not Ouija. I hesitate to put Mr. McMahon there because it's nothing new for me, even though I think it's good. And nobody wants this. I've only watched 2 episodes, so And Zelda, I've only played an hour. So I'm like, can I really make these a fresh pick of the week? I'm tempted to say Jahan's Baby Shower is my fresh pick of the week because I just had I had a nice time at that. If I have to say something from the show, even with just the little bit I've played, I'm going to have to say Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's my fresh pick of the week.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm going to go with The Penguin as my fresh pick. Check it out. It's on Max. I really enjoyed the first episode, and I think I'll enjoy many more to come. So, hey, I do believe that wraps us up for Fresh Out the Podcast tonight. I have been the board game guru, game master extraordinaire Jahan. If you like the content that you see here, but wish it had more tabletop RPG content, you should come check out Fresh Out the Box on YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff, where we do tabletop actual play. Sometimes we do rules reviews. There's literally hundreds, maybe like 400 videos on our YouTube of different gameplay sessions and reviews of different systems, and I just bought another one the other day, so it is always going to be bumping on Fresh Out the Box.
Jahan, I have breaking news before I sign off here. I was looking at the Apple Store. The Borderlands movie has dropped in price for $15 to purchase or $9.99 to rent it.
Man, that's a lot of money to spend for a bargain bin DVD right there, buddy. They spent millions. They spent millions.
No. Is it worth me paying $9.99 to watch it so that I can talk about it on this very podcast?
Oh, did you not watch it yet?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh.
And I feel like I need to see this movie.
I don't want to, but I will
and
if I have to.
Share my thoughts with you.
Maybe we can both hate watch it and then come talk about it. We do have something fun to talk about next week, though, right? If all goes according to plan, we should have a fresh look at the new Venom movie before it comes out. So,
in a couple weeks, that'll be
that's 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now. So yeah, we'll definitely get a little preview of Venom: The Last Dance.
Absolutely, I'm excited for that. Sorry, I jumped the gun because I'm so excited.
No, it's okay. No, you're good. Sorry to sidetrack us during the outros. I am the professional media and movie mastermind of the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. You can find me at Drew Munhausen on social media platforms, over on Letterboxd. You can check out what movies I'm watching and logging. I've been watching a lot of David Lynch stuff too that I don't talk about as much on here because I'm just trying to keep things tame. But yeah, that's it. This has been episode 138 of Fresh Out the Podcast.
Thanks, everybody. Stay fresh.